Yo, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy Dan, aka aDrive. I'm bringing you guys another episode of our Road to Master Rank, where I climb the online VGC Double ladder and try to get to the Masterball Tier, which we have already gotten to. So now the teams are going to have a bit more variety to them, which will be a lot of fun. But keep an eye out for our Road to Regional series, which is launching this week as well, where I feature amazing top tier VGC players. We showcase their teams, learn a little bit about it together, and throw down, man. But I've got a brand new team today featuring WishiWashi. I thought of this team last night. I don't know how good it's going to be. I haven't even tested it yet, but I have a good feeling about my homie WishiWashi. Hit that like button down below. Subscribe if you guys are new. And as always, we do these live on twitch.tv/aDrive. Hi, Crimson CVAD. Thanks for editing the video for me. I'll break down the team super quick. It's basically surrounding offensive Assault Vest WishiWashi here, which is designed to Dynamax and deal massive damage, next to a Trick Room Gothitelle, which has Heal Pulse and Fake Out to provide support to WishiWashi. I've got a secondary Trick Room setter in Mimikyu, which is a defensive Mimikyu, which I had theorized a few days back, and I actually think it could be really good with the Berry. I've got Sylveon with the choice specs, allowing me to hit incredibly hard with Hyper Voice, Hyper Beam, things like that. Weakness Policy, Solid Rock Rhyperior, which is an absolute monster in a Trick Room. And then a offensive Dhelmise, which is going to be primarily paired with WishiWashi to try to counteract some of those annoying Rotoms and Gastrodons. But the key idea that I had, and again, I haven't tested this, I really thought of it myself last night, was WishiWashi plus Gothitelle. So who knows if it's going to be good or not, but we're going to do it. And let's jump into it. So as you can see, we did hit the Masterball Tier at a nice ranking. So feeling pretty good about that. But let's jump into it, guys. Thank you again, Ryan. And let's see if we can, oh man, I dropped 2,000 ranks almost, but that's all right. Like I said, now that I'm in Master, I don't really care about my ranking anymore. It's all about just having fun, testing things, and just feeling more comfortable with the teams that we're using. All right, we've got an opponent here who's got a Sun team. So go figure we get to battle Sun here on the first turn, but that's okay. I'm not super concerned about that because I can always change the Sun if I want to. So let's lead with WishiWashi, and we're going to lead Gothitelle as planned. And then from there, I think I want Dhelmise just because I'm going to need to be able to deal with the some of the other Pokemon. I definitely want Rhyperior. Maybe I don't want Dhelmise. I definitely want Rhyperior here. And then I'm thinking, I mean, Dhelmise can actually put in some work. I can definitely put in some work. I'm like concerned a little bit about the Gastrodon, so that's why I'm leaning on Dhelmise right now. What do I have on my Dhelmise? I have Brick Break, Anchor Shot, Phantom Force. I mean, I can still do some pretty big damage with Phantom Force. Sylveon, I don't really think is going to be that good in this one. I think I need Dhelmise just in case my opponent brings Gastrodon. So let's do that. I don't know if Dhelmise is going to be that good of a bring. But again, this strategy really is about WishiWashi plus Gothitelle together. Getting up that Trick Room at the early part of the game, Dynamaxing WishiWashi and just doing a ton of damage. So we'll see how this goes. It's either going to work absurdly well or it's going to be really bad. I have no idea. But I do believe that WishiWashi could be a really, really powerful Pokemon in the Trick Room. So it's going to be Ninetales, Whimsicott. Okay. So that means the Whimsicott may be trying to taunt or something like that, but I feel okay about this first turn. So my opponent's going to get the Drought up. That's not a huge deal. And I'm going to School, and I can do one of two things here. This is where this team is very interesting, right? I either choose to Fake Out on the first turn, or I choose to Trick Room on the first turn. I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to Fake Out the Whimsicott. We're going to Dynamax, Max Geyser into the Ninetales slot, and then I'm actually going to Fake Out into the Whimsicott slot here, because I think my opponent may try to reverse Trick Room or something, and I want to eliminate that, break its Focus Sash, and then get a big hit off and actually change the weather to rain, which could really impact my opponent's strategy. And then we'll try to Trick Room on the following turn. Again, I haven't tested this strategy at all, so I'm not like super knowledgeable about how well this is going to go, but hopefully we can Wishy-Whack and Wishy-Wash my opponent right now. I would imagine even in Sun, Wishy-Washi's water move does a lot of damage, so let's see what's going to happen here. I don't think they Dynamax the Whimsicott though, but they are not going to Dynamax at all, so that's fine for me. I assume the Ninetales may go for Solar Beam into my Wishy-Washi, but I know I can live the attack, so let's just Dynamax here. I do have the Assault Vest for that reason. Ninetales isn't exactly that offensive, so we're going to be able to do a lot of damage to him anyway, and then put him in a spot where he can't really do much to me on the following turn unless he switches. So let's get this big attack off here. Here comes the Fake Out into the Whimsicott slot. We'll eliminate that thing from attacking this turn, and we're going to see a Foul Play come off into my Gothitelle, which is carrying the Colbur Berry. So it's going to take this attack really, really well. It's not going to do really anything at all. And we're going to get a big Z, not Z move, Max Geyser. This is Dynamaxing, team. We're doing that big Max Geyser. This may knock this thing out, even in Sun. And it just obliterates the Ninetales right there. You can see how powerful that is. It's a crit. I'm going to go on a limb and say the crit didn't matter. I think that probably still would have knocked him out. So now we get the rain up. I've broken the sash on the theoretical Whimsicott here. I've got my WishiWashi. Real powerful, big fish status. And we're in a very commanding position. My opponent's going to have to try to get up the Sun to really do a whole lot here. And for them to get up the Sun, they have to Dynamax something and use a fire type move now. So here comes the Leafeon, which is going to try to get through me. What I'm going to do now is I can choose to max Hailstorm into the Leafeon and do really big damage. I can also max Steel Spike into the Whimsicott and get rid of it. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to Hailstorm into the Leafeon, and I'm going to go for the Trick Room here and try to get my Trick Room up to outspeed my opponent with my WishiWashi. But they're going to Dynamax this Leafeon and go for a big Grass type move into me. But I'm not super concerned. We might see Sunny Day come off from the Whimsicott here, Prankster Sunny Day, as a backup strategy. But if I can get Trick Room up, we're going to be in a commanding position. I don't think a Leafeon's one-shotting me here with the Grass move. I'm a pretty bulky WishiWashi. But we're going to find out. We're going to find out really how bulky Wishy is here in a second. We're going to see the Taunt actually come off from the Whimsicott here, which is going to stop me from Trick Rooming. So that's kind of unfortunate, and we'll see what this Leafeon's going to do. He's going to go for the Max Overgrowth. We'll see how much this does. This is going to be really interesting to see how much this does. It does knock me pretty low, but I think we're still out of school form. Let's find out. I think we're not in the school form yet. As long as we stay big boy, we're okay. And we do stay big boy. We can get a max Hailstorm off here, and we can hit this Leafeon very, very hard and knock him pretty low. We don't quite pick up the KO, but we knocked him pretty low there. And we're going to change the weather to hail. So not the best situation because I can't Trick Room, but I did at the very least hit the Leafeon and weaken it down quite a bit. I don't have the ability to max guard though, so not exactly the most powerful position. I wish he's going to take some damage there. The Leaf is going to get some healing here. He's going to get a lot of healing back, all that stuff. Unfortunately though, my Wishy strategy is going to get kind of faltered here because he taunted me, so I couldn't get the Trick Room up, but that's okay. Now I do have Rhyperior in the bag, not very good, and I have Dhelmise in the back, which is pretty solid in this scenario. So basically, I need to probably just give in to my Wishy going down. There's not a whole lot I can do about it. I'm going to go for the Max Hailstorm into the Leafeon anyway, and then I'll actually go for the Psychic. I can actually swap out Gothitelle. Let's swap out Gothitelle and a Dhelmise. I think that that's an okay play. Because Gothitelle could come back in later and potentially get a late game win with Fake Out plus Trick Room. So we'll save Gothitelle. And we'll swap out and we're going to go out in a Dhelmise here. Let's see what my opponent's going to do. He's probably going to just go for the max move. He's going to Tailwind, which is fine. I don't really care about that. And we're going to see the max Flutterby go off into the Gothitelle slot, which I think was a misplay on my opponent unless my opponent expected me to max guard. It puts them in a commanding position in the regards that they were able to weaken my Dhelmise swap, but now I get to knock out the Leafeon, which was the biggest threat. So I'll take that play. That's not too big of a deal. Not over yet, though, because my opponent could have something really strong in the back, like that Charizard, which could be problematic for me. But I do have a Rhyperior, which I feel pretty good about right now in the back. I've got a Dhelmise at half health, and I've got a WishiWashi still Dynamaxed, and then I have a Gothitelle in the back that can heal Pulse, or it can also do some other things. So it's got Fake Out pressure as well, so we can fake out whatever comes in next. So we're in an okay spot. Copal, Joss, thank you for the Prime. Not the best spot, but an okay spot. So let's see what my opponent is going to do here. Very interesting Sun team. So, and what do we got here? We've got a Gastrodon. So I really do need my Dhelmise here to beat the Gastrodon, which is the problem. But let's see what my opponent's going to do. So what I need to do here is I need Dhelmise to beat Gastrodon. That's the only way I win this game, I think. So I'm going to Ice Beam the Whimsicott, and I'm going to Power Whip the Gastrodon and see what happens. My opponent could double Dhelmise, but I don't think they knock out Dhelmise with Whimsicott plus Gastrodon at this point. I don't know if I can beat the Gastrodon, though, without Dhelmise, so we'll see. The thing is, the Gastrodon's really fast because of Tailwind. I really don't understand that Tailwind play, but maybe the Whimsicott doesn't really have anything else to use. It might have Moonblast. Moonblast plus Scald may knock out my Dhelmise. It's going to be an interesting play here. But let's see. Here comes the Moonblast. If my opponent's smart, he targets the Dhelmise. He actually targets the Wishy, which does knock me into my school form. And then the Earth Power comes off. It goes to Dhelmise, which tells him that's his best play. As long as I hit a Power Whip, then we win the game, though. So, and I do hit it, so that's going to be game. So I think my opponent misplayed there. I think my opponent's best play was to attack double into the Dhelmise, because I didn't really have the best way to deal with the Gastro. But now I can Ice Beam. I'm still big Wishy, which is good. And we're going to deal pretty big damage to the Whimsicott, and that'll seal the deal, because my opponent's Whimsicott cannot attack both Pokemon on the field. Demad, thank you for the massive 52 months of love. How are you? Wishy, surprisingly, staying big. I'm really confused as to how he stayed so big this whole time. I thought it was 20%. What's 20%, dude? Clearly, oh, now he switches. Okay. I was going to say. Wait, so does he not switch until the end of the turn? So he can get, it's post-turn. Oh my god, that makes him so much better than I thought he was. Wow. I don't think I realized it was post-turn. I thought it was like Golisopod, where it was mid-turn, where he just exits out. That makes him a million times better. Oh my god. That makes him a million times better. But that also means he doesn't switch forms unless it's post-turn, right? So if I Heal Pulse him, it doesn't switch his form, right? Well, either way, we're going to pick up a nice W here, because I still have a Gothitelle and a Rhyperior in the back. And that's a Grassy Surge boosted Power Whip off a Choice Banded Dhelmise. So nice W there with the Wishy. And I think my opponent played pretty interestingly there with the Sun team. I don't think they played poorly. I think, like most games, you can usually look back on 1 or 2 turns that really made the difference in the game. And I think my opponent really needed to get rid of my WishiWashi there. I think they put a little bit more effort into my Gothitelle. But nevertheless, it's all good. We're going to get a ribbon for everybody, which is cool. And let's continue battling. Let's grab another one, see how this goes. Nice W there for us, and we moved up about 1,000 points on that one, which was nice. And D is bringing a very interesting team here, featuring that beat-up Lucario set, which is very scary. I do have the ability to fake out, though, so we can maybe work around that. So let's lead WishiWashi and Goth, and then I think I'm going to probably want Sylveon. And maybe Rhyperior looks okay. I think I want Sylveon for sure. And then how do I feel? I mean, Dhelmise doesn't look bad either. But Rhyperior looks pretty strong here. Dhelmise might be the better option though, because of Lucario. I think I'm going to go Dhelmise. I think they both have viability. I think I'm going to go Rhyperior though. Let's try that. It just depends on what my opponent brings, but... So I'm a little nervous because my opponent leads Whimsicott Lucario. I do have a little bit of a tricky situation because my opponent can do a lot of work with that Lucario, and I'm not able to get my Trick Room up. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to handle this, but let's see what happens here. Let's see what happens here. I can at least fake out, which is good. So, but I think my opponent would... he's going to lead Shandy Braviary, so that's fine. So... What I think is going to happen, though, is I think my opponent is going to try to Dynamax this Braviary. I think what I'm going to want to do is probably attack the Chandelure. I don't think I want to fake out here. I think I might just try to Trick Room. So we're going to Dynamax. I'm going to Max Geyser into the... Actually, I'm going to Dynamax. Yeah, we're going to Max Geyser into the Chandelure. And then I think I'm going to... I can go Rhyperior, actually, and just swap Goth out in a bad matchup and just go Rhyperior. I don't know how good of an idea that is, but I think it's my best idea. So let's swap Rhyperior in here for the Goth slot. I think my opponent's going to Dynamax the Braviary, so I'm going to see what they want to do here. I think I'm going to take a Shadow Ball into the Rhyperior and the Dynamax on the Braviary. Or my opponent is going to try to reverse Trick Room with Chandelure. Or my opponent Tailwinds Braviary and maxes the Chandelure. My opponent's going to go big on the Braviary, which I was expecting. It's probably going to go for the max wind attack or whatever to boost the speed of Chandelure. And Chandelure may, I don't know, may try to Trick Room, to reverse Trick Room, may just attack. It's Air Balloon, so I'm not really sure what to expect. But I do believe my WishiWashi is able to get off an attack here. I don't anticipate my opponent doubling WishiWashi in a situation where I have a Got the Tell, but let's see. We shall find out very quickly, shan't we? All right, we've got an Imprison. It's Trick Room, Imprison, Chandelure, so we make a great prediction there switching out. Not that I saw that that was going to be what happened, but it works out really well. Max Wind attacks the WishiWashi, but this is going to be a phenomenal turn for us. It does speed up the Braviary, but my opponent's Trick Room Answer, we've solved that problem by eliminating the Chandelure here with this Max Geyser into it. So, really good turn for us. Yeah, that was a really good turn for us. So my opponent running a offensive Chandelure with Trick Room Imprison. The Imprison allows him to stop my my Got the Tell from Trick Rooming, so they kind of had a really good strategy there, but I knew that Got the Tell really wasn't going to do anything for me in that situation, so I very promptly switched it out. I switched into a really good resist on both of those attacks, and kind of a good first turn for us. So here comes Rotom. This is the Leafy Rotom here. Now, obviously, it can Leaf Storm into my Wishy and knock me out, or it can Leaf Storm into my Hyperior and knock me out. I think I'm just going to admit defeat on one of those. I'm probably going to Max Geyser into the Braviary, and I'm probably going to Rock Slide and just try to get big damage off, I think is what I want to do. Let me think about this. He's going to probably Leaf Storm something. I'm going to Max Geyser the Braviary, though, because I think we can do some big damage there, and then I'm going to Rock Slide. I don't really know how I want to handle this turn, because he's going to Leaf Storm something, I assume. But the Max Airstream goes off into the Wishy. We can actually live this and not go to school form yet. And let's see what this Rotom's going to do. If he Leaf Storms into my Rhyperior, I don't think we live it, but we'll see. He's actually going to T-Bolt the Wishy, so he doubles Wishy here. That's fine. I'm able to now get a big Rock Slide off, which should do pretty big damage. And we'll see how much this does. Hopefully we don't miss. We're going to miss something, of course. But we at least hit the Braviary there for a nice solid chunk of damage. Not ideal. This is still a very winnable game, though, if I can get Trick Room up. So we're going to go Got the Tell. And I basically have to Trick Room and hope that my opponent is able to knock me out with the Trick Room 2 attacks. I can Fake Out, but I think I'm going to Trick Room here. And I'm going to Rock Slide again. I have to get the Trick Room up to win this game at this point. Sylveon can win the game in the back if I get it up. But if my opponent doubles Got the Tell, I might not be able to get it up. We're not going to be able to get it up, I don't think. So my opponent's going to double Got the Tell. I don't think I live a Thunderbolt in this situation, but we'll find out here in a second. This is going to do a lot. He does Thunderbolt. We might live on a tiny sliver. Nah, that's offensive. Okay, so I'm going to take a loss on this one. Not able to get up my Trick Room is going to cost me. Missing a Rock Slide certainly didn't help, because I think 2 Rock Slides probably wasn't going to do enough. We still have a chance, but it's very unlikely at this point. I really need Sylveon to put in a lot of work. That's why you use Protect. I didn't have Protect, so thank you for your infinite wisdom, sir. We're not out of it yet. He's at least not Dynamaxed anymore, so that's the good news. And I do have spread coverage, so we can Hyper Voice here and a Rock Slide. There's always the chance that my opponent misses something, so let's see. I should be able to pick up a double KO here, but I also may lose a Pokemon if my opponent double KOs. So, or if my opponent doubles into a Pokemon, rather. If my opponent misses Leaf Storm, though, I definitely can win this game. So here comes the Brave Bird into the Sylveon slot, most certainly. I do believe we live this hit, though. We do. Braviary actually almost gets knocked out. The Leaf Storm does miss, and we're right back in this game, baby. Hyper Voice is going to pick up a double KO here. I just need to not miss a Rock Slide, and then we really are in a great spot, because I missed a Rock Slide earlier, which cost me the situation, but we're going to pull it back here. Nice Rock Slide, very nice. And now we're right back in the game. So all it took was a Leaf Storm miss. Sometimes you just got to know your win condition. My win condition was my opponent missing a Leaf Storm, so it worked out really well. And it's a Mudsdale's the final Pokemon. That's actually not too shabby for me. I have a weakness policy Rhyperior here, so we're going to just Hyper Voice, and I am going to, I think, high horsepower. Maybe I'll Rock Slide. I don't know if he's min speed or not, so I think I'm gonna high horsepower. Is he min speed? That's the question. He's not, so that's good news, or he is rather. I probably should have Rock Slided for the flinch. Oh, he's gonna Iron Head my Sylveon, knock me out. Well, this is going to be an interesting last couple turns here. Rhyperior is a bulky boy, so high horsepower comes off. We get a nice chunk of damage on him. He gets his stamina, but the beauty is I'm gonna get a boost right now because he's gonna activate my weakness policy, which is the equivalent of activating my trap card if I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh! So we do have a 5% chance to miss, but it's still my best play, so we're gonna high horsepower. So I believe that as long as I don't get flinch, he's gonna Rock Tomb actually to slow me down so he doesn't activate my weakness policy. Not sure on that, but perhaps he was making some strats there. High horsepower comes off. He may be a berry actually. Is he gonna be a berry and get all this health back right now? No? Okay, well then I just fire punch him because then I don't miss. He might have rest. What are the chances he has rest? That'd be really random. He's got body press. That might knock us out. Oh no, we eat that, bro. And I got the weakness policy, bro. We're out here. Fire punch seals the deal, baby. So that was a really interesting strategy on his part. So he went for the Rock Tomb to slow me down, so that way, I don't know what he was doing actually. He should have just double body press, but it didn't matter because he would have activated my weakness policy, and we picked it up. So big dub there. Our win condition was the Leaf Storm miss. Excellent, perfectly executed on my part to enable me to make him miss. So genius plays, really. Very cool team featuring a Grim Snarl, Whimsicott, all that good stuff. I'm gonna just stick to my WishiWashi strat here. I'm gonna bring Dhelmise in the back, I believe. Actually, no, Dhelmise kind of has a bad situation. It's good because it can knock, Brick Break the Grim Snarl, but definitely want Sylveon here. Sylveon looks really good, and I think Rhyperior looks also very good. So let's do that. I think Wishy looks pretty solid here too. Wishy's just really strong, so we're gonna try to utilize him. It's gonna be Haxorus Drapion. That's a, oh my god, dude. That's a beauty. That Haxorus is so great. And we already know my opponent's hacking because you can't possibly have 2 shiny Pokemon and actually battle. We already know. By the way, guys, I'm just kidding. Alright, so let's see here. I think what I'm gonna do is, we did not see an item on the Drapion, did we? We did not, so I think I'm gonna max Quake into that thing. I'm gonna max Quake the Drapion slot, which will also give me a boost to my defenses, and then I think I'm gonna just Trick Room. If my opponent wants to double Gothitelle, that's fine. I think if I can get Trick Room up, though, I'll be in a pretty commanding position. I could also fake out into the Haxorus slot, but I think just going for Trick Room here is probably my best play. But I gotta tell you, man, that Haxorus looks incredible, so definitely looks really cool. You just activated the comment section trap card. I know. I know. So let's see what my opponent does here. My guess is that Haxorus is going to Dragon Dance, and then the Drapion goes for knockoff, but I don't know. I really don't know. If I get Trick Room up, though, I think I'm in a great spot. So let's see what he's going to do. He is going to Dynamax something. Let's see what it's going to be. I think it's the Haxorus, but it might be the Drapion. It's the Haxorus, okay. So that's a really powerful Pokemon. I don't think the Haxorus, it just depends on what he decides to attack here. Does he double into the Gothitelle? Because if he doubles the Gothitelle, I don't get Trick Room up. If he doubles the Wishy, then I think we're actually okay. But part of my vision with this WishiWashi team is that the Gothitelle traps them, so they can't switch out. So my opponent has to choose, do I go after the Wishy or do I go after the Gothitelle? If they go after the Gothitelle, then Wishy gets an attack off, right? Like a big hit, and it's so powerful. If they go after the Gothitelle, then I lose my Trick Room. So generally, I should probably be running 2 Trick Room setters in this team, but he's gonna max Steel Spike into the Goth. Oh yeah, that's definitely gonna knock me out with the Drapion. So fake out into Drapion was probably my best play then. And he's gonna get a defense boost, which is gonna allow him to live another hit too. And here comes the knockoff. He's actually gonna Fell Stinger me. And I live the hit and get the Trick Room off. My opponent has not calculated his turn properly here, and that is going to change things very, very much so, because now I get myself a nice little special defense boost, and I'm put in a very commanding position here with my WishiWashi to boost my stats. I do get my Trick Room off here, and now I'm in a very good spot. So we love to see that. You love to see that. Now what I can do is we can actually max Steel Spike into the Drapion slot. That's going to give us a physical defense boost and allow me to take on the Haxorus a little bit better. And then I'm going to simply Psychic the Haxorus because I just want my Gothitelle to die here. But if it doesn't die, that's fine. We can heal Pulse on the next turn. So let's do that. So this is how you can use Dynamax moves to boost your stats as well. So my opponent used it. I'm going to use it right here as well. I'm going to use the Max Steel Spike to boost my WishiWashi's defense, allow him to take on that Haxorus a little bit better. Right now I've got +1 special defense on my WishiWashi. And this all came down to the fact that my opponent tried to get a little greedy there with the Fell Stinger. Cool strategy, would have given him +3 attack, but because he did not go for the knockoff there, I'm in a really commanding position. So Max Steel Spike's gonna come off here. I'm gonna be able to knock out this Drapion and get a defense boost. It was a pretty free move because if my opponent had protected, it still goes through that, would have knocked him out. Now I have a defense and a special defense boost on my WishiWashi. The Haxorus is going to need a critical hit here to really do anything. Psyche's going to come off, do some nice damage on him. I'm going to get a special defense drop. No, I tried to predict it. Didn't work. He's going to Steel Spike into the Gothitelle and knock it out. But I'm okay with that because now I have Trick Room up and two powerful... I'm going to have my second powerful Trick Room Pokemon on the field here shortly. Had he went after WishiWashi, I would have just been able to Heal Pulse it, so it really wasn't a big issue. But now I get to go into Sylveon, which can do a lot of damage here with Hyper Voice. So this Hyper Voice is going to hurt, and I don't think the Haxorus is going to want to take that. This is where spread damage is just so strong. Under Trick Room, I have the opportunity to fire off some very, very big attacks, and it's actually going to be Grimmsnarl, which may be trying to... Another shiny. Very, very likely my opponent here was hatching. I have multiple options here. To me, I think I actually am going to probably target down the Grimmsnarl with a Max Geyser. Because I'm not really concerned about the Haxorus, because it's going to take so much damage here. So I think I want to go for the... Or do I want the Max... No, I'm going to Max Steel Spike for the boost, the defense boost. And then I'm going to Hyper Voice. That allows me to live the Haxorus's attacks. So... He's going to actually Light Screen, so that tells me my opponent's going to Max Steel Spike into my Sylveon slot, which is fine. But that means I'm going to knock out the Grimmsnarl here, which is fine by me. And that's a dead Grimmsnarl. I'm also going to give myself a defense boost on my Sylveon by doing so. So that's going to be really solid there. And I'm going to be able to get off a Hyper Voice, which is going to do a tremendous amount of damage to this Haxorus here. In fact, it's actually just going to straight up pick up the KO. Because Sylveon is choice specs, it does a ton of damage with that Hyper Voice, and you know, can really put in some serious work there. And let's see what my opponent is going to send out next. But at this point, we've got a 3v1 situation. It's going to be Como-O, and this is why I felt like Sylveon was so good in this matchup, because it can just Hyper Voice. And this is my vision for this WishiWashi team, man. It's really about using WishiWashi's max moves, Max Quake, Max Iron Tail, or Steel Spike to boost the defense stats. And also use Gothitelle to trap, and then switch around. So really good strategy. This is a really good example of how I wanted it to work. So my opponent may have Protect to stall a turn here, but that's going to be game. My opponent's going to forfeit there and take the L on that one. So that's going to be the end of this episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed seeing a little bit of a different Pokemon, seeing WishiWashi get some action there. Not a Pokemon that you've probably really seen so far. I still want to tweak this team. I think the Gothitelle probably is better off physically defensive instead of specially defensive, but I'm pretty happy with how this went. So we'll take those W's right there and continue to tweak some teams. Keep an eye out on some new strategies. Hit that like button down below. Subscribe if you guys are new, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode of our Road to Master Tier, where I'm already in Master Ranked, so I'm still going to keep calling it that. So yeah, that's how this ends. Thanks. Bye. Peace.
Butterfree, go!